I'm slightly appalled that it's 2024 and this is still how we treat our surgeons in training.
Look, home call is bullshit, and I'm so glad that doctors like Dr. Sanchez are finally speaking up about it. When I made the transition in training from general surgery intern to urologic surgery resident, I was on home call very frequently. And she explains it in the video, but basically home call is where you're on call overnight as a specialist, and you might be called into the hospital numerous times from home, and you might actually end up spending the entire night in the hospital working, but since you're on, quote, home call, you still work a full day the next day. And of course, there's a good argument to be made that the experience of going in for those consults and dealing with the emergencies and knowing how to take care of them is very important as a junior resident. And if you're specializing as a fellow, sure, there's going to be a lot of experience that you're gaining from those hard nights. But we have great evidence out there that working tired after no sleep is the equivalent of being drunk. And is that advisable or recommended for doctors in training? I don't think so. And the frustrating thing is that there are solutions. There are options that programs can do to make this better. A really good solution to improve the situation is to hire mid-level help. And in this situation, when you're talking about a fellow being on call, it's so easy to fix the situation. You just need an NP or a PA who's well-trained to see the initial consult, get the person evaluated and teed up for surgery, and then the fellow or attending could come in for the surgery itself. Obviously, it still means that the fellow or attending is not going to sleep very well that night. They're going to operate maybe a few times, but it's going to be way better. There's going to be much less impact on the night when the initial evaluation and all of the paperwork is being done by someone else. So why don't programs do this? Number one, it's expensive. And number two, probably some programs say that the initial evaluation and teeing the patient up is very important to the educational process. And probably there's some validity to that. But I will die on this hill. No one is really learning anything after 2 a.m. It just becomes survival at that point. So instead of this option, what are most programs going to do? They're going to utilize junior residents for this job. But honestly, that's just pushing the problems downhill, and you're just making that junior resident's life miserable because you know they're on home call too, and they're going to have to work a full day as well. And here's the thing, medical students are not dumb. They do sub-Is. They figure out which programs offer a humane training process or not. So if you want the best and brightest as a training program, it's to your benefit to make it a humane training process. I'll get off my soapbox now, but I really hope that training for residents and fellows is eventually going to become more humane because it's not like the old days. There are consequences if a trainee graduates residency or fellowship bitter and burnt out. They're going to enter their attending life bitter and burnt out. And if things don't immediately change for the better, if they don't find solace in their attending career, they're going to leave medicine. And in this day and age, when we have a huge doctor shortage that is projected to get much worse over the next decade, we cannot afford that. I'm Dan the Darwinian Doctor, urologic surgeon, and founder of Serious Real Estate. Follow for more.